Where have you found leverage within your business, a bit off topic from sales, but just in business management in general, that has given you some sort of efficiency or predictability through leverage?
It's good. It's a really good question. I think when you look at your business, there's a really good quote. I forget who it comes from, but they said something along the lines of like being a good business owner is learning how to outsource and get the same type of production or similar production so you can leverage more time and then continue to build more. And that's what I think a lot of business owners who get to the first six figures by just grinding, doing more like you're saying, they don't know how to leverage other people to fill them in their roles that are taking a lot of time, like sales calls or messaging or content creation. Once I learned like, oh dang, like I can bring someone on, pay them $4,000 a month, and they'll
Yep.
do all that for me, and it takes it completely off my plate. That's where I see a lot of those business owners who get stuck with like first couple six figures because they started making money, but now they want to hold on to it. And what you have to
Mm.
do to move faster is get rid of it, pay it to people who can then come on, give you back more time, and then you can keep making more money because time is money and money is time. So you're either going to pay with time, either meaning like if you want to get to 10 million, but you don't bring on enough people fast enough, it'll take you 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can pay more money and then you can get to 10 million in 1 year, and then your business will keep making that money and you'll make more in the long run. But that's the number one thing is learning how to leverage people. Flip side of that, learning how to let someone go that you're trying to leverage who's not doing a good job in leveraging. That's the other thing. You bring on, like you said, I worked with my brother, right? So some people are, oh, you're lucky and stuff. But my brother, like, for people that don't know, it was like he would destroy me. Like
Mm.
I had zero grace. So like we got to a point where he's like, bro, if you don't start performing when I first started, like almost zero trades, like, dude, if you don't perform, you're gone. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if we're related. I don't care if like you have one eye and a peg
But that's
leg. Like,
business, isn't it? Hey, like that's
yeah,
business.
yeah. So like, I think that's something my brother taught me, and I respect him a lot for it. It's like he taught me like, dude, everyone's replaceable. Like, you're replaceable. I'm replaceable. Like, everyone is. So learning how to leverage people, get more time back as a business owner, and then if someone's not performing, being willing to move fast off of them versus like, oh, like I'm gonna try to make it work even though it's not working. And that's with a sales team, fulfillment team, like anything. And that's my best business owners, that's what they do. They bring someone on, they're like, hey, I think they're gonna be a great fit. That things that you can't see in an interview or whatever it may be start coming through, and then they're like, oh, I made a mistake, move on. And then
Yep.
we move to the next person.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. The I'm a big believer now that in like hire slow, fire fast, and I've definitely learned that the hard way of just trying to give people more grace than what they're deserving of, um, and or what their skill set would suggest they should be allowed. Um, but look, I think that's one of the processes of outsourcing and hiring. Like it gets to that point of like you just need to learn when to let go.
Yeah, man, it's a and again for like newer business owners, that's where it gets tough because I think newer business owners sometimes are like, oh, I want to be the cool boss, or I want to be like
Yeah,
the boss that no one ever had. But what you start realizing is the reason certain bosses are the way they are is because that's business, like you were
have to
saying.
be. Yeah, yeah. Now, what's let's see if we can kind of wrap this up. If you could give some people some cold and hard advice on sales, like to improve their sales cycle as fast as possible. I know that's like we live in a world of instantaneous sort of reward, and sales aren't really like that. But if there's anything that you could give the people at home to improve upon their sales cycle, big or small, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, I think there might be a couple things, but one that comes to mind is like you're either closing or getting closed. There is no in between. And once you start thinking like, oh, this person's like, oh, let me think about it. I'll get back to you next week. They're not like, and that's the mistake I see in beginners and advanced closers is letting people sell them on things that make you feel good. What does not feel good is typically the thing that's right. So when
Mm.
someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to think about it and get back to you," they're usually not thinking about it. It doesn't thinking's instantaneous. So when they're saying that, it makes you feel good, but what you ultimately should want to hear is either someone saying, no, I don't like your program, or yes, I'm in. Because no, I don't like your program sometimes can feel personal, but that's where a second layer of sales of not, and my second piece of advice is removing your personal feelings or taking your ego out of sales allows you to get to the real truth on calls. And most salespeople can't do that. They're attached to the sale, they're attached to the business, they're attached to what they're offering. So once you can learn to separate yourself, and the way you do that is read a book called Alter Ego by Todd Herman. That's
Great book.
absolutely the best book out there in terms of like, how do you separate yourself from something that can feel so personal? When you do that, sales becomes easy because now you just look at it more as a game, right? And something that's like fun versus, life and death. Sometimes that can feel a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. To your point, I think to wrap that up, something that I say to my team all the time, if you handle the objections and they say they want to think about it and you ask them what they want to think about and where are they getting more information, you do all the things you need to do. Don't be afraid to ultimately just ask, are you just saying you need to think about it because you're too afraid to say no? And you'll get a no, and then you can actually attack the no for what it is. And it's that simple.
Yeah. And that's just to piggyback off of that, not letting your beliefs get shaken by what someone's saying. So like, I want to think about it. We'll use that one. Thinking is instantaneous. So if I say, think of a red, green caterpillar, everyone just thought of that, right? Like now we all have different pictures in our mind. Our pictures might look a little different, but we all just thought about that. And so you have to get so tied down on your beliefs that when someone's saying something, you can't be like, oh, I think they're being serious. Like I think they actually are, because you'll get more specific reasons of what's actually going through their head, what they're processing through. When you get something like that. But yeah, what you said, I like that, right? Like, are you really thinking about it, or are you gonna say no? Yeah, it's good.